This conference will now be recorded.
Bobby, do
Okay.
you want to share the you had a list for suggested topic? Do you want to share it? Then we can
Yep.
see who we can actually invite to.
I'm gonna do that. All right. So we have the great fight, and so Taufik and you guys, first of all, I'm wondering whether I can help you get organized on this, on the great fight. So in terms of rounding up your side and telling me when you'll be Taufik Anu Allen. Taufik's online.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you guys? I want to schedule this at some point and maybe do the pro and con. So I'm hoping you guys can schedule meetings offline and get organized, or I can try and set something up for next week.
Hey, Bobby, quick question.
Yes.
I know that this is going to be a debate, which is awesome, the pros and cons. Do you want to turn this something into more of a webinar kind of thing where it's beyond the ODSA community and we invite the OCP community to participate in this debate or listen to it at least?
I would like to. It's that I've had a rocky start getting it off the ground. I think I'd love to be able to say yes if I can get this organized. A chunk of it is me sort of saying not rounding up the people, but I need a sort of a healthy pro and con team, three pro, three against. So I've got Shahab and Ilad, and I'm looking for one more person saying let's just stay objective. I haven't reached out to Arvind or Letitia.
Okay, well, I'm just saying whenever you are ready, it doesn't need to be anything immediately, but whenever you're ready. I don't know if you want to just do it kind of casual during your ODSA call, that's fine too. But I just think that when you're calling something the Great Fight, I love that title. I'm not sure who came up with it, but I think it's fantastic. But I think that to me, that's worthy of beyond.
That's DJ's.
Hey, Ashley.
That's beyond the ODSA community, right?
Yeah. Hey, Ashley, you can see under 5. I think Bobby is proposing maybe we can do it at the OCP summit. So maybe even if we do it, it could be just dry run. We do it this one now, or within the team, dry run. But if we can get it at the OCP summit, maybe that's also satisfy what you're proposing.
So I have an alternate proposal to that as well, to expand the audience. Again, the goal is to see if we can expand it beyond OCP as well. So there are two ways, Bapi, you should think. If you want to expand within OCP, then Taufik's suggestion of doing at Summit is a good suggestion. The other alternative is look at some place like Hot Chips, where I think they are taking right now panels and talks and things like that. And Hot Chips could be an excellent place to do a great fight debate, and that would expand it beyond OCP. So that's a strategic choice. There's no right answer here. But if we want to keep it within OCP and expand, then we shouldn't do it in ODSA call. We could go beyond at the summit. And perhaps we can do a short dry run in the ODSA call and then do the rehash of that event at the summit. And if you want to do it even bigger than that, then dry run again at ODSA call and then go to Hot Chips.
Yeah. One more also alternative, DJ. If we do that workshop that you did this year at ISCA, if we do it at the VLSI Technology Conference.
That's why I suggested Hot Chips. That's exactly how I'm thinking, Taufik. So I'm thinking after ISCA, what comes next from the chip perspective? And the biggest event in the industry, which is local, which comes for the second half of the year is hot chips. So that's what I'm thinking.
Sure.
Right. And I was just looking at hot chips. It's virtual this year. And it's in August. So I'm okay with that. I think that's a fantastic idea. I think that we should reach up and over to other industries and work with them, right? Because this is not just a debate for OCP. I think it applies beyond that. So it's up to you guys. I'm just throwing something out there because I think we need to start thinking beyond OCP, right? Just my 2 cents.
So another idea is that we might be thinking about is that someone mentioned like a dry run, but I think it should be more than just a dry run. I suggest we have within this community a pre-fight before we hit the bigger community. I mean, such as OCP as well as hard chip type conferences. I think it's important that we have a, I mean, at least a very clear message whether or not we, is pro or con before we hit the bigger community.
Yeah, that's what I meant by a dry run. I didn't mean dry run as a dry run, but we do it within our community and then take it bigger with the goal of taking it bigger.
Yeah, and it would be very fun if we can invite people outside of ODSA to participate in the fight. That would even be more interesting.
So the floor is open. I think the we know where we are. We know where we want to get to. It's the in between that's proving hard for us right now. So in terms of, we one thing I think I'm leaning towards is maybe doing an organization meeting of whoever's interested in participating. So right now we've got 5 names. Shahab, Ilad, I don't know whether Ilad's online. Anu, okay, and Alan. Okay, so then the entire suspect cast is online. So we got to figure out how do we get this train moving. Should we do an org meeting next week? Who else do we want to call for that?
I think for a debate, man, 5-6 people is pretty good, Bobby. You probably don't need expanding beyond that, right?
We just need one organizer, basically, someone who can ask question and moderate the talk.
Okay, so then let's do this. Since all of you are here already, I'm going to wrap this meeting up at 9:30 or excuse me, 8:30, and then whoever's interested stayed. But the rest of we can figure out who the 6th. I think we need a balance panel, so we need a 6th name here, whether it's Arvind or Letitia, and we perhaps be open to one more name in each. And well, let's get organized starting at 8:30 then, since. That make sense? Yes.
Yeah,
No?
makes sense.
Yep, works
Right.
for me.
All right. Okay. So that puts the great fight to bed. Anybody who's interested, just stay online. Otherwise, I'll end the primary meeting at 8:30. Okay. So in terms of topics, Shah, back to the original thing. I've got presentations on companies. I have to work on this. We were talking about a KG discussion from Teradyne. Roberto. Ventana, the ISSC papers, ISCA workshop speakers. Okay, so this one, yeah. So maybe any other thoughts? Anybody else has any speakers? Giri, you think it would be nice to hear about NVIDIA's NVLink, whatever is being opened up, etc. Do you think we could get somebody from NVIDIA or you or to speak?
You mean at ISCA workshop?
No, here in our Friday meeting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can ask. So, yeah.
If you want to speak at the workshop, I'm sure DJ will be DJ is the guy to talk to. DJ and
So
Wayfang?
I had the person who actually works on the thing is John Wilson, and I had him provide abstract and whatnot, but I think maybe one day later or something, but it looks like the committee didn't pick NVIDIA's talk, so
So
that's
Giri,
fine. So
Giri,
we didn't. Yeah.
Giri, hello, Giri. We picked all the abstracts which were submitted.
Okay.
And how did we pick them? They were all submitted via email, which ended up in a Google Drive, and we looked at the abstract. Not a single one was left behind.
So maybe that's what the mistake I made. So I think the John Wilson and I emailed the abstract to you and Archana, but I guess that's a wrong. Yeah, that's okay. DJ, that's
You
fine.
have
Don't
to
worry.
follow the. You have to follow
Sorry.
the.
Yeah.
Giri, you were part of the call multiple times.
I know. Yeah. It was my fault. So it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Because,
no hard feelings. It's good. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So do one thing, Giri. Can you submit it back to that? Let me see if we can accommodate it. I don't know.
I have it here. I'm going to go ahead and upload it to the drive, and I'll add it to the list here, DJ. Okay. I have it right here, so I'm going to put it to the chiplets.
Because Giri, I hope you understand. We were not tracking individual emails for this.
Yeah.
Email,
which is I know you guys are. Yeah. So that's why I don't have it. It's fine. Not an issue at all.
Yeah.
But I can also ask him to present here if you guys want to hear about it.
Oh, for sure.
I'll talk to John and see what the timelines are. Yeah.
Okay. Can you please get back to me by email?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Bob. Yes.
So, thank you, Giri. I think it would be very interesting to have somebody talk about NVLink and what's out in the open and how we can use it.
Okay. Yeah.
Bobby, I think I was supposed to actually check ISSCC this year if we can see any good presentation.
Right.
There are one actually I enjoyed actually. That's basically 200 gigabit per second transmitters, an opportunity beyond the basically 112. It was given by Jonathan Rogers from AlphaWave. I can reach out to him and ask him if he wants to repeat the same talk for us. That was one,
Okay.
but it's going to be a little bit technical for this audience. Elad can comment on that too. But there was another talk by Tony Chan Carson from University of Toronto that he was talking about the post-FEC adaptation for equalization. That's a new trend that is going. I like that one too, but I don't know. These two conferences are usually a little bit technical. I don't know if it's right for this audience or not, but those two talks were interesting.
No, that's fine. Let's chance that. That's if you found two interesting papers, let's bring them up. I thank you.
Are you saying we're not technical enough? With a touch of sarcasm in my voice.
I was going to answer, but all right. Let's see. Are there the other thing I wanted to figure out? Work stream updates. Is there any favorite work stream update? I've just asked literally 15 minutes ago. I've asked OpenHBI. Is there any other work stream that people want to hear from?
I would like to hear from link layer.
Yeah, because the link layer would like to hear from the link layer. Right now, I haven't set up a whole bunch of meetings. That effort needs a leader rather badly.
No, there is work going on, Bappi. It's just in the background. Yeah, but there is stuff going on.
We have a path for an individual company to contribute, but we don't have much by way of group activity going on.
Yeah, no,
So can we get an
there's some
update
group
there,
activity going on in the
Bapi?
background.
Not yet. He's asked for some time and space, and so we're sort
Because
of
this
giving him it.
question is coming up, Bapi, and I think there is not much visibility. At least in internal Meta, we are asking this question on how are the higher level protocols being supported on Bo, and I don't have clarity on how to answer some of those
Okay,
questions.
let's do one thing then.
And that's actually, guys, that's a real issue, because we can have great phi-to-phi, interoperability, but if the link layers are not aligned, it's not worth anything, right? So I think this is going to be very important, because I've heard this from customers as well, that they want to.
So
How do you guarantee interoperability in a chiplet environment
Yeah,
where
so let me,
two companies have not worked together closely, and you just want to interoperate, right?
Exactly.
hey, by the way, can you guys hear me okay? Or?
now we're just ignoring you, man.
All right, no, just making sure. I was gonna say there is actually a lot of activity happening there, just not in that particular meeting at the moment. I will, yeah, I guess sign me up as the lead for right now. There's other meetings that need to be happening in any case. I think part of all right, so I think the question there is mostly going to be the following. There are a whole bunch of parallel buses out there that the people may want to use. And even when we say that somebody wants to use Kai or Axie or something like this, there's all kinds of optionalities embedded in them. And so there's sort of a design space of trade-offs that one has to work through of, do you do something bespoke for every single flavor of parallel bus and every single sort of, optionality within that? Or do you try and come up with some general things that obviously in some cases will have more overhead than you'd like, and in others, would be just fitting or whatever, right? So there's kind of a big design space there to just, do a little bit of working through. As I said, that there is actually activity just not in that meeting at the moment, but among separate groups to really make progress on exactly those questions. So I will just try and see if we can fold that in, to the ODSA meeting specifically, so that others can participate and contribute. But yeah, it's just been a little bit under the radar, not that there's not activity, nor that the problems and sort of questions that everyone's raising are not recognized.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to revive the dormant meeting next Thursday, 5/12, and then we will do it. We'll center next Friday's discussion. And Nick and there's a gentleman from D-Matrix who hasn't, and then anybody else who wants to come. You can either come to the Thursday meeting, but be here for the Friday meeting for sure. And we will at least sort of reconstitute that meeting and see whether we can get it.
And I'm sorry, the Thursday meeting link is located where?
9 a.m., same link.
Same link,
9 a.m.
okay.
Thursday, yeah. Except that I haven't held it for almost 4 weeks now.
Yeah,
okay.
Just assign it to me, Bapi. I'll take care of it.
Okay. Let's see. What was any other work streams people would like to hear from?
Hey, Bobby, might not be a work stream, but more like an action item. What about that D2D Phi table 2.0? Are we still
Shahab's been
working on
holding
it?
those meetings every Tuesday at, was it 8 or 9, Shahab? Sorry.
It's a 9 a.m. on Tuesdays, but looks like there's a couple of difficulties for people because there were circulated a couple of different links for that meeting. I suggest actually check the OCP calendar for the right link to get to that meeting.
But yeah, the D2D meeting has been going on.
And
okay,
I will do my best to send a reminder on Monday.
Can somebody send me the link for that new template that we can contribute?
Sure, Shahab, would you like to post it on the chat?
We are still working on the old one. There is no new one yet. We are just basically figuring out what should be the new figure of merits that we want to add, and who are the new candidates that we're going to add to the table. We are at that phase yet. We haven't basically updated the table. It is still the old one. If you want the old one, I will send it to you.
Oh, I have the old one, but I thought we're gonna have a new template, so I'm waiting for that before we fill that in. There are a couple of Samsung die-to-die files that we like to add into the table.
Sure. Then if you guys can join on Tuesday, or if you join, or if someone else wants to join, please share the contact. I will invite them to the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful. Any what are the other topics? But you know, the bow, the test chip, the CDX. Anybody want to hear from? So I'll just schedule. Is there any? If anybody has nobody has any preferences, I'll just go through rather than calendar order later. Anything else anyone has in mind? Okay. The other thing I'm kind of curious about, does anybody know of any company, people working in management, chiplet management and initialization? Anybody know of any effort at all, organized effort in that space?
You on about the sideband management BMC stuff?
Yeah.
So there's obviously the DCSCM, the effort, and Libra BMC and Open BMC.
Yeah, but
So
they're all sort of generic, right? Nobody has sort of gone. I mean, in chiplets, you have to do address space partitioning, you got to do resets, and all these other little interesting things. And I'm wondering whether there's.
No, that's a good point. Actually, I've not thought about it at the chiplet level. I'm actively doing that at the system level in the HPC sub-project. And I've got Lattice involved because there's an effort to completely open source everything, even the hardware, so that you know, from a security perspective, and so making the BMCs, they're like putting soft processors in soft logic. It can be updated and modified if issues are found quite easily compared to the BMCs of old. So that's Libra BMC. So Lattice are pretty heavily involved in that, and I think Xilinx are, or AMD Xilinx. And IBM are helping drive that. I think Todd Rosedal is one of the leads on the Libra BMC side. So anyway, and the reason I bring it up is in my HPC, everything's heterogeneous, and we're bolting things together. Like you might want to bolt an NVIDIA next to an x86, and if you connect an NV link to a PCI bus, maybe you're doing an illegal connection. So you want the management, the bring up side of things, to say, you can't connect those two together. They don't talk turkey. Now, obviously at a chiplet level, hopefully you don't make that mistake because you're building packaged devices. But in my pluggable system level, it's very easy for people to make mistakes. So you need the management to assess the situation and not turn on a machine that's incorrectly wired. So anyway, I don't know if that's the same sort of thing in a different way, but I guess that's the area where you might do something.
Yeah, but so, I don't know of anyone doing anything.
Well, so Bobby, in hardware management, under the hardware management modules, right? I know that there are two groups in there. One is obviously the DCSCM, and Intel is pretty far down the line with 14. I think there's 14 other contributors in the DCSCM 2.0. I know Microsoft and Google did it, but it's a module, right? So I don't know if it's at the chiplet level, but they may have some insight there.
No, that's right. Originally, it's a module level, the DCSCM. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one, which is also at a module or a card level, is Dropbox working with Intel on Run BMC.
Right.
And again, it's modular. It's a card. So I don't know if it's at the chiplet level, but they have to be able to interface with said, processor or BMC in some
Yeah.
way because it's on a card, right? So they're kludging it together, but like I said, you might want to, I mean, I can put you in touch with the two leaders there, and maybe you can talk to them and find out if anybody in their ecosystem is working at the chip level.
Sure. That's a good place to start. That probably is a good, and is there anybody who can sort of, I'm sure AMD or Xilinx or other people, but I think both the groups are a good place to start. Is there anybody who can volunteer to go hunt for somebody to speak in this? Management, initialization, reset?
Well, really, it's a chiplet focus you want, so I guess it's the guys that are doing their own chiplets. But
Yeah. I'm hunting for some volunteer. Okay, if you're interested in volunteering, please drop me a note offline. Okay, last topic since we're almost out of time. Anybody have any other businesses you want to hear from? Any or know of any business we should reach out to? Startups, bigger companies exploring the space. Any thoughts takers?
did we ever have Open FPGA present?
Yeah. I saw that one coming.
Sorry?
Let me think about it.
Okay. Do you mean your company or someone else's? Oh, Nick wasn't responding to our question.
No, I was just kind of expanding. The problem is that right now we have a lot of stuff that's under NDA, so I'm really not ready to talk about stuff publicly.
Okay.
UCIe. Do we want to have somebody come in and talk about UCIe?
We could, but I think DJ has been working on it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we'll have to wait for it. I'll tell you a simple reason for it. UCI is still not incorporated as a consortium. So there are a lot of things which are not complete. So once that's done, then we can go to the next step.
Okay. Well, I guess if you have any thoughts, ping me. I'm going to stop this meeting now and switch to organizing for the great fight. So I'm going to stop recording this.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Bobby, one thing. So
Sure.
I look at PCIe, and they have PCIe SIG, which is a group whose job is to basically validate interoperability, right? So the question is there a BioSig or OpenHBI SIG or something similar that has to get created at some point to guarantee interoperability?
Yeah, actually I put that in. But we have to.
So I have a thought there, Bapi. I think we have a pretty dedicated effort to launch Bo test chip, which is actually precisely being done for interop purposes. It's slightly different from the other orgs in that there's actual instance of a chip being built and community is trying to find a way to test it. So one way to move forward on this is obviously, inside OCP we don't have SIGs, but we can recast, or it actually logically makes sense to take the board test chip effort and convert it into interop work stream, with test chip being one aspect of interop being pursued.
Okay.
Does that make sense? What I just said, I wanted to see if that makes sense for others.
I think the challenge you're going to run into here is that something like PCIe is a card slot that you plug a card into, and it's a lot easier to test when things can just get plugged in and you can run signals across and look at them and things like that. When you have
So
chiplets, how do you create a chiplet interoperability test bed?
Yeah, so the way we are thinking, the way we are conceptually thinking is we want to create a golden unit, and it won't be as trivial that you can do a quick interop testing in matter of hours it takes for experimental setup to be put together. Interop here would require an assembly and integration for one vendor's chip into a golden test unit, which has been verified. And that would take weeks. So it will be different in terms of the timelines, but in terms of the activities, it could be similar.
Okay. So I think we were a basic problem definition challenge in both management and interoperability. What we want to do, what the goals are, etc. But I agree with you that the test chip effort is a good jumping off point. Okay. Any other thoughts before I call time on the meeting? Anybody with any opens? Going once? All right.
Right.
Then in that case, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop recording.